Hello, and welcome back to Module 3 on Scrum Organization. In this video, we're going to look at how Scrum is used in projects, programs, and portfolios. Before we start, we need to have a clear idea about these three terms. Let's go through them one by one. First, we have the project. A project is nothing but a collaborative enterprise to either create new products or services or to deliver results as defined in the project vision statement. Projects are usually impacted by constraints of time, cost, scope, quality, people, and organizational capabilities. So what does a project team do? The objective of the project team is to create deliverables as defined in the prioritized product backlog. Next, we have programs. A program is a group of related projects with the objective of delivering business outcomes as defined in the program vision statement. Here we find the prioritized program backlog, which incorporates the prioritized product backlogs for all the projects in the program. And finally, we have the portfolio, which is a group of related programs with the objective of delivering business outcomes as defined in the portfolio vision statement. The prioritized portfolio backlog incorporates the prioritized program backlogs for all the programs in the portfolio. Let me show you an example to illustrate this. Take the case of a construction company. Here, the project is construction of a house, and the program is a construction of a housing complex. So what will the portfolio be? That's right, all the housing projects of the company. Another example could be an aerospace organization. Here, the project is building the launch vehicle. The program is a successful launch of a satellite, and the portfolio will be all the active satellite programs. And here's one final example. Consider an information technology company, an IT company. What is the project, program, and portfolio here? The project can be the development of a shopping cart module. So the program will be the development of a fully functional e-commerce website. Here, the portfolio will be all the websites developed by the company so far. Now that you're clear on the definitions, let's begin with how Scrum is applied in projects. Since Scrum favors small teams, one may think that this method can only be used on small projects, but this isn't the case at all. Scrum can also be used effectively on large-scale projects. When more than 10 people are required to carry out the work, multiple Scrum teams may be formed. The project team consists of multiple Scrum teams working together to create deliverables and product releases so as to achieve the outcomes desired for the overall project. Since a project can have multiple Scrum teams working in parallel, coordination between different teams becomes important. The Scrum teams usually communicate and coordinate with each other in a variety of ways, but the most common approach is known as a Scrum of Scrums meeting, or SOS. Members representing each Scrum team come together to discuss progress and issues to coordinate activities between teams. These meetings are similar in format to the daily stand-up meetings. However, the frequency of the Scrum of Scrums could be at predetermined intervals or coordinated as required by the different Scrum teams. Let's have a closer look at this concept. A Scrum of Scrums meeting is an important element when scaling Scrum to large projects. Typically, there's one representative in the meeting from each Scrum team, usually the Scrum Master. But it's also common for anyone from the Scrum team to attend the meeting if required. This meeting is usually facilitated by the Chief Scrum Master and is intended to focus on areas of coordination and integration between the different Scrum teams. This meeting is conducted at predetermined intervals or when required by the Scrum teams. In organizations that have several Scrum teams working on portions of a project simultaneously, the SOS meeting can be scaled up another level to what is referred to as the Scrum of Scrums meeting. In this situation, an SOS meeting is held to coordinate each group of Scrum teams working on portions of a related project, and then a Scrum of Scrums meeting may be held to coordinate and integrate projects at a higher level. Teams have to carefully evaluate the benefits of having Scrum of Scrums meetings, as the third layer adds a significant amount of logistical complexity. Confused? Don't worry. We have a diagram here that'll clear things up. Take a look. As you can see, there are 6 Scrum teams working simultaneously. Scrum teams A, B, and C are working on portions of a related project, while Scrum teams D, E, and F are working on portions of another related project. A Scrum of Scrums meeting is held to coordinate the interdependencies between the related projects. A Scrum of Scrums meeting may then be conducted to coordinate and manage dependencies across all the projects. Now let's move on to see how Scrum is applied in programs and portfolios. In programs, the important roles are the program product owner, who defines the strategic objectives and priorities for the program, and the program Scrum Master, who solves problems, removes impediments, and facilitates and conducts meetings for the program. These roles are similar to those of the product owner and Scrum Master, except that they meet the needs of their program or business unit rather than those of the single Scrum team. Similarly in portfolios, the important roles for managing Scrum portfolios are the portfolio product owner, who defines the strategic objectives and priorities for the portfolio, and the portfolio Scrum Master, who solves problems, removes impediments, facilitates, and conducts meetings for the portfolio. The needs and structure of each organization are different. It's the responsibility of the Scrum guidance body to scrutinize the organization at different levels to understand and define the appropriate application of Scrum, and to act as a consulting body for everyone working on the project, program, or portfolio. To get a better understanding, take a few minutes to look at this diagram. It illustrates how Scrum can be used across the organization for portfolios, programs, or projects. Now let's discuss what happens when Scrum is applied to manage projects within the context of a program or portfolio. Here, it's strongly recommended that the general principles of Scrum presented in this publication are adhered to. It's understood, though, that in order to accommodate the overall program or portfolio activities and interdependencies, minor adjustments to the set of tools, as well as the organizational structure, may be required. Portfolios and programs have separate teams with different sets of objectives. Program management teams aim to deliver capabilities and realize certain goals that contribute towards the achievement of specific program objectives. In contrast, the portfolio team has to balance the objectives of various programs to achieve the strategic objectives of the organization as a whole. Here, we have to see how communication is managed with program and portfolio teams. The problems and issues faced when using Scrum within a program or portfolio primarily involve coordination across numerous teams. This can lead to failure if not carefully managed. Tools used for communication need to be scaled to match the requirements of the many teams involved in a program or portfolio. Each Scrum team must address not only internal communications, but also external communications with other teams and the relevant stakeholders of the program or portfolio. We talked about maintaining communication with stakeholders, but how do we maintain stakeholder involvement? Scrum requires complete support from the project stakeholders. The responsibility for keeping stakeholders engaged lies with the product owner. Now I will list out some actions recommended for maintaining stakeholder engagement and support. First is to ensure effective collaboration and stakeholder involvement in the project. Second, continually assess business impact. Next, maintain regular communication with stakeholders. And finally, manage stakeholders' expectations. One key stakeholder is the sponsor, the individual who provides the funding and other resources for a project. Sponsors want to understand the financial bottom line related to a product or service and are typically more concerned with the final outcomes rather than with individual tasks. It's important that the sponsors who are funding the project have clarity on issues such as the benefits of implementing Scrum, target deadlines, and estimated costs of Scrum projects, overall risks involved in Scrum projects, and the steps to mitigate them, and finally, expected release dates and final deliverables. So now you have an idea of how Scrum is applied in projects, programs, and portfolios. We also had a quick discussion on how to involve stakeholders and maintain their interests. Please watch our other videos to learn more on SBOK Guide. Thank you for watching.